Hey, good morning everyone, it's Dave and we are back with our next reading of the Old Testament. We'll be reading out of my New King James Version, and we'll be reading out of chapter 11 of the book of Deuteronomy. I do apologize for the break in reading. It appears I need to get my priorities in line, so help me do that. Alright, thank you. Alright, chapter 11, the book of Deuteronomy, covers one topic for a total of 32 verses, and it is love and obedience rewarded. Something to think about there for myself, maybe for you, I don't know. Alright, remember, if you don't have a Bible, you can go to Bible.com, you can read for free. There's a whole bunch of apps out there that you can get and download for free. If you live in a country where you can do that, and have a Bible or have an app with the Bible on it, be thankful and please use it. For those of you that don't, I pray for you and I hope that you're able to get the word in some way, shape, or form. Alright, I'm ready. You're ready? Let's get started. Therefore you shall love the Lord your God and keep his charge, his statutes, his judgments, and his commandments always. Know today that I do not speak with your children, who have not known or who have not seen the chastening of the Lord your God, his greatness and his mighty hand and his outstretched arm, his signs and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh king of Egypt and to all his land, what he did to the army of Egypt, to their horses and their chariots, how he made the waters of the Red Sea overflow them as they pursued you, and how the Lord has destroyed them to this day. What he did for you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up, their households, their tents, and all their substance that was in their possession, in the midst of all of Israel. But your eyes have seen every great act of the Lord, which he did. Therefore you shall keep every commandment which I command you today, that you may be strong, and go in and possess the land which you cross over to possess, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord swore to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you go to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come, where you sowed your seed, watered it by foot, as a vegetable garden. But the land which you cross over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of heaven. A land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it, from the very beginning of the year to the very end of the year. And it shall be that if you earnestly obey my commandments which I command you today, to love the Lord your God and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the later rain, that you may gather in your grain, your new wine, and your oil. And I will send grass in your fields for your livestock, that you may eat and be filled. Take heed to yourselves, lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve others gods and worship them. Lest the Lord's anger be aroused against you, and he shut up the heavens so that there be no rain, and the land yield no produce, and you perish quickly from the good land which the Lord is giving you. Therefore you shall lay up all these words of mine in your heart, and go and in your soul, and bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, that your days and the days of your children may be multiplied, in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them, like the days of heaven above the earth. For if you carefully keep all these commandments which I command you to do, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations before you, and you will dispossess greater and mightier nations than yourselves. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even to the western sea, shall be your territory. No man shall be able to stand against you. The Lord your God will put dread of you and the fear of you upon all the land where you tread, just as he said to you. Behold, I set before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and the curse if you do not obey the commandment of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I command you today, to go after other gods which you have not known. Now it shall be, when the Lord your God has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the plain opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Moreh? For you will cross over the Jordan and go in to possess the land which the Lord your God has given you, and you will possess it and dwell in it, and you shall be careful to observe all the statutes and judgments which I set before you today. All right, that concludes chapter 11 of the book of Deuteronomy. Thank you all so much for listening to me today. I ask that you pray for me, and just that I'm able to keep my priorities in line, because a lot of stuff has been taking my focus lately, and that is not the right answer. All right, so thank you all. I hope you guys have a great Thursday. Happy Friday Eve. God bless.
When life keeps falling and wonder where he is in all this mess, he's right there to guide you. Unseen, you're not alone.